Bitcoin has seen an explosive move to 48,000. In today's video, we're going to be doing a complete and comprehensive analysis on the macro and short-term charts, discussing exactly what you need to be paying attention to, key trigger points, and a potential large move that is incoming. By the end of today's video, you will have a detailed and well-rounded understanding of not only what to expect, but how the price is developing. Let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, MegaWhale team, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you're all having a fantastic day and a quick happy Chinese New Year to everyone who does celebrate. Now, I wasn't originally going to do a video today. As you know, Saturdays I do take off, but the market went up massively. We saw exactly what we've been expecting over the last 5 or 6 weeks play out, and today we're going to be discussing what you should be expecting next. We're going to be taking a look at the short term. We're going to be taking a look at the daily and 3-day charts, discussing key trigger levels. We're also going to be taking a look at the macro and weekly charts. How is the price developing? What does this 48k retest mean? And will Bitcoin continue higher? And we'll also lastly be going over the total cryptocurrency and altcoin market cap. Before we do get into it, smash that like button, hit that comment button, and subscribe to the channel. We post daily videos for Bitcoin, focusing on the facts, the data, the technical and the structural information. No hype, no BS, no emotion, pure raw TA. If that is the kind of content you're interested in, join us on Telegram. It is the third link down below. You'll get access to charts, updates, videos, educational posts, news events, and everything you need to stay in the loop with cryptocurrency, with Bitcoin, and the relevant economic news. If you are interested in taking your trading to the next level, you can join our VIP group. We post trading setups with exact entries, exact targets, see all the profits we've been printing over here, exact stop losses, trade justification, exclusive analysis, and everything in between. If you're interested in getting access to that, you'll also get access to our group chats, our general chat, our trading chart and education chat, our help chat, our news chat, our daily video chat, and our trade setup chat. Go ahead and contact me in the pinned comment of the free channel for more information. Let's go ahead and dive in. So like we've said, the market has been rallying aggressively to that $48,000 level. And with that, we see a lot of volatility, we see a lot of liquidations, and we see a lot of people asking a bunch of questions. And the questions go along the lines of, are we going to see a correction from here? Or is Bitcoin finally breaking through that major $48,000 resistance? And if so, what does this mean and where will it go? So we're going to be focusing on those 2 points today. Starting on that market data, however, we can take a look at 24-hour volume. It is up 45%, sitting at 136 billion. Of course, with this large move toward the upside, we generally see a lot of volume flowing into the market. 24-hour liquidations are up 60%, sitting at a total of 157 million. With 114 million in short positions liquidated. Moving over to the broader markets, the DXY is still acting, it's more or less neutral on the immediate short term. On the weekly chart, we are in an overall uptrend. Again, we can see potential exhaustion developing over here, but more or less we are waiting for that CPI data on the 13th to really indicate and really push the DXY in any specific direction. A breakdown of this trend line will result in a retest of these local lows. We're looking at 102 to 103. A loss of these local lows results in a correction back down to retest these January lows at 101 to 100.5. If we do maintain this uptrend, we could potentially go as high as 105.5. However, that is relatively unlikely unless we do get quite bearish CPI data. Moving over to the broader markets, the S&P 500 is still pushing higher, closing a weekly candle above that 5,000 mark, looking fantastic on the higher time frame. Nothing bearish to say over here. Moving over to the Dow Jones, we did finally reach our target of 39,000. In fact, we went just a little bit over that target. We've been looking for that target ever since the breakout of this level. So we did finally reach that target. Again, we are going to be acting as resistance over here. So we could potentially see a short-term correction. However, a break through this level will require a weekly candle close, and we will likely see a move to 40,000. So overall, looking very strong on the macro. Enough about that. Keeping that part short and sharp of the video because we do want to get into the crux, which is Bitcoin. So before we do, a quick word from Bitget and BingX, and we'll dive on in. I wanted to briefly interrupt today's video to discuss the two exchanges we use on this channel, Bitget and BingX. So which exchange should you sign up to? If you look to the right hand side of the screen, you're going to see the list of differences in relation to KYC requirements and the countries these exchanges offer services to. The first link down below being the Bitget link and the second link down below being the BingX link. No matter which link you sign up to, you're going to get up to 15% discounts on your trading fees, up to $5,000 in trading rewards, and of course, you'll get access to every single MegaWhale exclusive bonus campaign we run on these exchanges. Alongside that, Bitget and BingX are incredibly similar. They are both ranked top 10 in terms of trading volume. They both have extensive liquidity pools and market pairs offering up to 125x leverage. And most importantly, they both offer protection funds for their users to protect you against any third-party hacks. So get started now and support the channel by clicking the links below. Thanks for listening. Okay guys, let's go ahead and dive right in. So before we jump specifically into Bitcoin, because we do have a lot to talk about, let's start on the total cryptocurrency market caps and have a look at how these are progressing. So on the left-hand side, we have the total cryptocurrency market cap. We can see we have broken out of a 9-week long level of resistance. And this level of resistance actually spans back much further, specifically back to January 2022 at this base of support. So it's a neckline that has spanned, we're looking at 2 years. This is a 2-year long neckline that we have finally broken out of. And in the last 9 weeks, we actually found a large amount of resistance at that $1.6 trillion level, that midline of that neckline resistance. So we're actually finally broken above that level with a massive green candle. And again, this is going to be closing in 2 weeks, but it's a significant signal of strength. This is indicating if we get that close, this level of resistance has officially been broken, and we are flipping this as support. If we do create a nice base of support over here, which is very likely because strong resistance turns to strong support, we are looking for a continuation up to this $2 trillion plus level on the total cryptocurrency market cap, which is incredibly bullish for both Bitcoin and for altcoins. Moving over to the altcoin market cap, this is going to be the total 3 market cap, excluding Bitcoin and excluding Ethereum. We can see we have actually retested and bounced very well from this SSL level. This is going to be our sell side liquidity, the first significant pullback for altcoins in that bull run phase. We did come back down and we have been retesting this level for quite some time. We finally find this level, broke above it and retested it for the last couple weeks. So about 6 or 7 weeks, we've been retesting this level. We did not actually close a weekly candle above. We have maintained our weekly closes above this level. And we are finally actually pushing up above the prior weekly high points. We are seeing strength develop and it is preparing for a continuation. Where do we see the price going next to this one? We do see it going up to the $600 billion level. Again, looking for a retest of this local low range, a similar point of which where the total cryptocurrency market cap retested many months ago. So we're looking for a climb up to that next level for the total altcoin market cap if we are able to maintain this breakout. Overall, looking very fantastic. Needless to say, guys, we'll say it anyway. If at any point these levels of support break toward the downside, that will be massively bearish for cryptocurrency as a whole, whether it be a breakdown of this high time frame support here or a loss of that weekly low range, both of which will be very catastrophic. So we're hoping neither of those occur. Let's go ahead and jump over to Bitcoin, starting on the short term and building up to the macro. So guys, what a fantastic last few days for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. If you have been following the channel, you would know one of the key scenarios we're discussing upon the 48k retest was a full-blown correction into deviation underneath 40,000 and then a break back into that 48k range. We've actually seen that play out perfectly. It's a scenario we discussed multiple times about 2 or 3 weeks ago upon that breakdown, and recently discussed a continuation through 44.25, which will result in a retest of 46. And we discussed in yesterday's video that a break over 46,000, okay, a 4-hour close over 46,000, which we did see, would result in a continuation to the range high resistance at 48,000. Remember, the range high resistance is the uppermost level of resistance within the high time frame resistance range between $46,000 to $48,000 resistance, that level of resistance. So the range high is that 48K level. Remember yesterday, if you were paying attention, we did discuss that we were traveling in this neutral consolidation on the higher time frame. Again, we had bullish absorption as represented by the momentum. We had our range low of support, about a range high of resistance, and we told you if we broke below the range low of support, it would result in a retest of that 38, and we told you if we broke above that 46 level, the range high, we would see a continuation to retest 48, which we did see perfectly. So overall, looking fantastic. Moving over to the short term, however, generally after we see these large moves upwards, the natural and logical question is to ask, are we going to sustain? Are we going to push higher? And I could sit here and tell, yeah, we're going to 100,000, all right? Like a clown, I could say that. But we have to be objective and we have to be realistic. We have to assign probabilities, determine the most likely scenarios, and then act on what is more likely. So we have to outline the facts. The facts remain. On the higher time frame chart, we do not expect a continuation upward until a few things occur. Number one, we need to see a monthly candle close above 48,000 to validate the $48,000 resistance has broken, okay? This is a yearly level of resistance, and thus we need a monthly close to validate that break, okay? So we're looking for a monthly candle close above 48,000 to validate the breakout of this level. If we go over really quickly to our macro charts, we can see, according to our monthly data over here, every single time we close a monthly candle above that dotted trend line, the dotted trend line being the dead cap bounce high from the prior cycle, in this instance, that is 48,000, we see the price action aggressively continue upwards in the months to come into a full-blown bull market that eventually reaches an all-time high of the cycle. So for that to trigger, we would like to see a monthly candle close above 48,000 to validate that break and to initiate the start of the bull run, right? The full-blown parabolic move we expect to see in bull runs. So that leaves us to one other thing. According to prior data, we generally only see that monthly candle close after the halving event. We can see the halving event is represented by this vertical green line, okay? This vertical green line and this vertical green line. And therefore, a monthly candle close occurring prior to the halving would indicate a potential early start to the bull run. Now, we mentioned this prior. That doesn't necessarily break the 4-year cycle. The 4-year cycle is a date range trend. But it could potentially indicate an earlier start to the bull run, and if we have an earlier start to the bull run, that could potentially result in an earlier top of the bull run. Thus, we could have our dates thrown off in regards to when we believe the top of the next cycle will be. But that is speculation. We could also see an earlier start to the bull run resulting in a longer, more drawn out, more aggressive bull run. So it's two ways. We can't really tell you which one it is. It is speculative. It's something we have to pay attention to. Nevertheless, if we're looking at Bitcoin from a structural perspective, regardless of the date of which the breakout occurs, a break above that level in the monthly chart is very bullish. So let's go ahead and quickly jump over to this chart. This is going to be our weekly 4-year cycle chart. You can see it is broken up into cycles, and each cycle is broken up into yearly phases. We can see in the 3rd year of every single cycle, year 3, we do two major things. Number one, we get that monthly candle close above that dotted trend line right over here, okay, right over here, and we see a retest of the prior all-time high of the last cycle right over here, okay, and right over here. So that is indicative of the fact that in this year, in the 3rd year, we are likely going to see a retest of 70,000 or 69,000, whatever we did reach specifically, okay? Very, very bullish stuff. If we go further down and take a look at this is going to be our days between tops and bottoms. If we look at the distance from the all-time high to the low, okay, the all-time high to the low, the all-time high to the low, we can see on average we have 364 days. That played out 2 times perfectly. We had 364 days from this all-time high to this low. We had 364 days from this all-time high to this low. If we look at the time from the lows to the all-time highs, from the lows to potential all-time highs, we had exactly 1,064 days, and we had exactly from this low up to this all-time high, 1,064 days, okay? We're looking at over nearly 3,000 days in total. This cycle, this pattern has played out. And thus, if we extrapolate that forward, we can assume 1,064 days from our low point to our top would bring us to a October 2025 top. Very interesting stuff in the macro chart. Macro charts are looking fantastic. From a daily perspective, if we want to see a break above this level, we need to see one more thing. We'll come back to that in just one moment. Let's quickly talk about where Bitcoin can go if we do break above this level. So going ahead and deleting everything on the chart, taking a look at our visible range volume profile, we can immediately see an area of interest. That is going to be this $52,000 level. You can see right on our chart, this divot in the VRPV, an immediate area of interest. If we break a monthly candle close above 48,000, okay, we are likely going to see a rally to $52,000. This is going to act as the last level, okay, of resistance, the final level of resistance before a continuation to retest the all-time high. Okay, significant, really significant. Think about it, we've got 2 resistances right now, the 48K, the 52K, before almost clean sailing to that all-time high price. Fantastic stuff, very, very interesting stuff. So let's talk about that one thing we are looking for a confirmation of a break over 48,000. So as we've been discussing over the last few weeks, and you wouldn't know this because again, this is stuff we focus on daily on this channel, momentum analysis, we have been watching these divergences play out. And more specifically, we watch for the point of which the developing exhaustion flips back positive. What do I mean by that? Really quickly for the people who haven't been watching. When we see price action moving upwards, okay, we'll give you an example over here, price action moving upwards, and momentum moving downwards, this is an indication of exhaustion. We generally see this pattern play out when we are moving from a support to a resistance. The closer we get to the resistance or when we move into a resistance, we generally see exhaustion develop. That generally results in a correction. Now, when we drag that trend line across from the point of which the bearish divergence was created, we can actually represent the directional or the direction of which the momentum is traveling within the price structure we are viewing. So when we break above that trend line, it can indicate that within this cluster of price action, momentum has flipped from what has been negative the entire time to positive. And when we have positive momentum, that generally indicates strength. And positive momentum or momentum is a leading indicator for price action. And that is why we saw, and that is why I was telling you guys for weeks, okay? We're telling you on the channel, parabolic move coming, something to be aware of, warning, blah, 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 all these big trigger words to get your attention. And people in the comments telling me, why are you hyping things? I'm not trying to hype things up. We saw it happen in the past. It is happening again. We saw a breakout. And as from that breakout, we saw a 15% rally on Bitcoin. That is explosive for Bitcoin. The amount of money that has to flow in the market to result in a 50% rally is significant. If we take now a look at our larger structure, okay, this is going to be the cluster of price action. Since this point, this larger structure, we had the larger bearish divergence developing, okay, we can see we are now retesting the upper level again of this structure. This is the level we are now watching, okay, for a confirmation of a continuation through the 48K resistance and potentially to 52,000. We are watching this point for a higher time frame, positive momentum shift. Again, guys, we're going to go back and show you really quickly why this is significant. Now, you're probably thinking, well, this is all gibberish. You know, this is how I've been trading for 7 years. I've made multiple seven figures doing this. I have public trades, hundreds and hundreds, 932 to be precise, public trades of an 80.15% win ratio with exact entries, targets, and stop losses using these methods, okay? Obviously, I'm not going to show you explicitly how I use it, but the general concepts that I'm showing you here is exactly the concepts I use. So you can see in the comments say TA doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. If TA didn't work, my results wouldn't be so consistent over 35 months of tracking. It is an improbability to have an 80.15% win rate over 35 months over 932 trades through sideways markets, upward market, bear market. If TA doesn't work, TA does work, you just have no clue how to use it. So take the time to understand and learn. It can only benefit you. This isn't a game of who's better. This isn't a game of ego. No one cares about how much or how little you know. Care about making profit and take the steps to proactively get to where you want to be instead of looking for reasons why you can't, okay? Focus on what is possible. Looking at this in the past, we have seen, again, a similar thing. A RSI breakout over here resulted in a 51% rally, okay? RSI breakout over here resulted in a 19% rally. RSI breakout over here resulted in a 60 to 70% rally. So we've seen these positive momentum shifts occur, and every time they happen, we see violent explosions in the price action as it represents not only the momentum is sort of positive, but it represents during the consolidation of which we saw the price action move down due to developing exhaustion. The bulls were able to absorb the selling, thus create a low and a platform for a continuation upwards. It represents the bears' lost strength. Very important stuff. So now let's go over back to the short term and discuss the likelihood of scenarios. So like we said, number one, for a continuation upwards, our daily need to close. We are looking fantastic for a continuation. The total cryptocurrency market cap is looking fantastic. The monthly chart is looking fantastic, but we are not quite there yet. We need to still get over that 48K resistance. So we know that 48,000, I'll go ahead and drop it in. 48,000, this red line, is a major area of resistance. So if we look at our lower levels of support now, we have got a local higher support at 47,000. Okay, we've got a range of support between 45.5, okay, to 45.4. And then we have our lower levels of support, specifically our main at 44.25. These are going to be our immediate support levels. We could see a retest of this, which we now have, right? We have seen a retest of this. If we lose this trigger point, this is going to be a trigger point, we will very likely retrace back down to fill this small gap on the VRPV and retest this range of support. This is a very likely bouncing point for Bitcoin for a continuation upwards. A loss of this support, we look for the next support. So again, keep it simple. We come down, we lose support. Support was unable to hold. Bulls were unable to buy that price action up. The bears are taking over control. We expect a retracement to the next support. We look for bounces. If it doesn't bounce, we break from that support. We look for a continuation to the next support. It is simply looking for points of reversal, okay? If we are able to break through resistance, well, then resistance is cleared. We are looking for a flip of that resistance. We are looking for resistance to turn in support, and then we will see a continuation upwards. So keep it simple. There is absolutely no need to overcomplicate it. I will say this. Okay, if you were aping into late longs here, you are not doing it correctly. You had many weeks to develop your long positions, to accumulate your long positions upon bullish absorption, and now to be taking profits on those short-term long positions. If you are aping into long positions here, unless you were looking at the higher time frame, okay, you are doing it wrong. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I'll catch you guys on Monday, as we won't be doing a video tomorrow. Cheers.